Today we're making huaraches. Huaraches are a classical Mexican dish that's similar to tacos, but has a thick oval masa base that's crispy on the outside but soft on the inside. So let's go make it. But first, we have to go get the ingredients. We're back, so let's start cooking. Next thing I have to do is prep my chicken. So I got my chicken thighs. I'll cut that open. And I'll cut this up into nice strips. And now that our chicken's cut, I'll keep all my chicken in this bowl. Now we can marinate. For my marinade, I'm gonna use something similar to carne asada. I have an orange and I'm gonna peel it first. Now that we have our orange, I'm gonna cut this in half. And squeeze all of the juice into our chicken. And now I'm gonna add a lime. So I'll cut this in half. And squeeze the juice inside. Now that we're done with this, I'm gonna go and add our seasoning. I'm gonna add another clove of garlic. Mince it. I'll add the garlic, some olive oil, cumin, paprika, a little bit of cayenne pepper, some salt, and black pepper, and some coriander powder. And now I'm gonna go ahead and give this a nice mix. Now I'm gonna cover this and let this sit for a while. The first thing I need to do is make my refried beans. So I'm gonna get an onion, chop it in half, remove the skin. You can set this aside. So the next thing we have to do is our garlic. So I'm gonna use 3 cloves of garlic, smash it. Now the peels go out easily. So now that we have our 3 cloves of garlic, we can set this aside. And now I'll get a pot. And I'll add a cup of pinto beans, the onion, and the garlic. And I'll add a little bit of oregano and some cumin powder. Then I'll fill this up with water and I'll let that cook. Now let this cook for around 30 minutes. Now we have to make our dough, so I'm gonna use the stand mixer to mix everything. I'm gonna add 2 cups of corn flour. I also want to add a little bit of salt. I'm gonna add around 1 1/4 cup of warm water, and then I'm gonna let this mix. Now that this is all mixed up, I'm gonna go ahead and make this into a ball and cut it into equally sized pieces. Here's our dough. I'm just gonna knead it for a little. Now that this is in a ball, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this into equally sized pieces. To make this dough, I'm gonna make each of these pieces into an oval shape. Now that we have all of our ovals, I'm gonna go ahead and keep them flat. To do this, I'm gonna use a little bit of plastic wrap. I'm gonna keep each piece on and keep the plastic over it. Next, all I have to do is get a baking pan or something similar and press it down. Once you're done, you should have something similar to this. And be very careful when you're taking it out because you do not want it to break. Now that they're all flat, they're ready to move on to the next step. The first thing we have to do is cook our dough on a pan. Now let's add them one by one. After around 1 or 2 minutes, these will be good to flip. Now these are all cooked and I'll take them away. Now that they're all cooked, we can add 1/4 inch of oil onto our pan to get them nice and crispy. Now lay them one by one away from you. After around 30 seconds, you can flip them over. Now that they're all done, you can take them out. Now that our base is done, we can go ahead and cook our chicken, but before that, let's go check on our beans. This looks really good, and now I think we can blend it with an immersion blender. Now let's blend this until it gets nice and creamy. The refried beans are all done, and now we can go and cook our chicken. Now that our oil's nice and hot, we can start adding our chicken. Now we're going to start making our salsa. To start, we're going to use 2 tomatoes, and we're going to cut them into fourths. We don't have to cut it a lot because we're going to blend them. Now we get our garlic clove and slightly cut it. Now we use half a jalapeno pepper and just chop it. And just roughly chop it. And now I need 1/4 of a lime. So now I'm going to add all of my ingredients into the blender. And I'm going to squeeze my lime. Some parsley. Now we just need some salt and we can blend it. Now blend it until it's a nice and smooth salsa. Now that our salsa is all done, we can simmer this and let this cook. Now I can add a little bit of oil. I just pour my salsa in. And I just let this simmer for around 15 to 20 minutes. After around 15 minutes, our salsa is cooked. So I'm gonna start by cutting it all around. Take it apart. Take out the pit. Carefully remove the skin. And we can cut this into cubes. And now we have our cubes. I'll set these aside. I have some jalapenos, nice and thin. And set this aside. Now some lettuce. I'm gonna take a little bit off. I'll cut it to nice strips. Now our lettuce is all done. And I'll set this aside. Now to plate, we add 3 of our base. Now we add some of our refried beans. Now we add the chicken, some lettuce, jalapenos, our salsa, and Mexican crema. Now we add a little bit of feta cheese because I couldn't find cotija cheese or queso fresco. If you have those, then definitely use them. And we're all done. And there you have it, homemade huaraches. I hope you enjoyed making these as much as I did. And if you give this recipe a try, please let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.